Hello students, my name is Vaishali, a faculty member in School of Finance and Commerce, Galgotias University, and I welcome you all to this presentation, and the name of the topic is types of budgets. So let's get started with the presentation. Let's have a look at the various topics being covered. We would define the different types of budgets on the basis of function, flexibility, and period. And then we would discuss these various budgets in detail. So according to function, we would be discussing sales budget, production budget, cost of production budget, cash budget, and master budget. Then on the basis of flexibility, fixed budget and flexible budget. And then on the basis of time, long term, short term, current budget and progressive budget. So students, in the previous presentation, we had already covered the introductory part of a budget, like what is budget, budgetary control, its importance and limitations. And further, we would be discussing the different types of budgets, what are the different categories of budgets. So a budget can be classified basically mainly in three categories: on the basis of scope, on the basis of efficiency, and on the basis of period. So like on the basis of the scope, there are functional budgets and master budgets. So there are various functions in an organization like sales function, production function. So on the basis of all these functions, we can prepare budget, and then there is a master budget which covers all these functional budgets. Then on the basis of efficiency, the budget can be divided into fixed budget and flexible budget. And then on the basis of period, budget can be classified as long-term budget or short-term budget. So let's look at these in detail further. Functional budget. So budget for a period are classified according to the various activities in the organization, as I said earlier also, and all these activities are interrelated. So the forecasts for individual activities are prepared and coordinated with those of the other activities, and then a consolidated budget is prepared to show the total effect of all the activities as a whole. So these approved targets for individual functions are known as functional budget, and the consolidated budget of all the functions is known as master budget. So the first functional budget is sales budget. As the name suggests, this budget is a forecast of total sales expressed in the terms of money as well as quantity. So the price as well as the number of units to be sold has to be forecasted. So the first step in the preparation of sales budget is to forecast as accurately as possible the sales that are anticipated during the budgeted period. Now these sales can be influenced by various factors, internal as well as external. Some of the external factors that can influence sales of a business are the general business conditions, the government policy, and so on. And internal factors could be price of the sale, price of the product, sales trends, if the company is launching any new product. So these are some of the factors that can affect the sales budget. Now this sales budget, which is based on forecasting, is the responsibility of the sales manager and market research staff. And this sales budget is regarded as the keystone of budgeting, as I said earlier, because all the other budgets would follow the sales budget. Now let's look at the example here. As you can see on the screen, there is an example, and the Royal Industries has prepared its annual sales forecast expecting to achieve sales of rupees 30 lakh next year. The controller is uncertain about the pattern of sales to be expected by month and asks you to prepare a monthly budget of sales. The following sales data pertain to the year which is considered to be representative of a normal year. So here in the question, we are already given the annual budgeted sales, which is rupees 30 lakh, and they have also given us the previous year's data the estimation of sales by each month. So what you can see on the screen is the estimation of sales for each month and estimation for the next year sales, that is rupees 30 lakh. Now we are supposed to find out the estimate of sales by each month. So we have been given the total sales for the year, the estimated total sales, that is rupees 30 lakh. And from the information provided, we have the past year's data of sales month-wise. We will do a total of month-wise sales. It comes to 25 lakh. And now on the proportionate basis, we can find out the estimated sales for the current year month-wise, as you can see on the screen. So we have found out the estimated sales for all the 12 months by using the information already given in the question, and hence we have prepared the sales month-wise estimate of the sales. Other than sales budget, there is production budget. So production budget will estimate the quantity of production. So just the number of items it has to estimate, and it is prepared on the basis of sales budget. Then next is cost of production budget. So this budget of course forecasts the cost of production, and first separate budgets can be prepared for each element of cost. Like to calculate the total cost of production, we need the amount of direct materials, direct labor, then office overheads, sales and distribution overheads. So we can prepare separate budgets for all these elements of cost, and then finally we can prepare cost of production budget. The next is purchase budget. So this budget has to forecast the quantity and value of purchase required for production. It gives quantity wise as well as money wise particulars about the materials to be purchased. Now next is personnel budget, and as the name suggests, this budget anticipates the quantity of personnel required during a period of production, and this is known as personnel budget. Next is research budget. So the research budget relates to the research work to be done in order to improve the quality of the products or for the introduction of new products. The next is capital expenditure budget, and this budget provides a guidance regarding the amount of capital that may be required for procurement of materials and capital assets during the budgeted period. Next is cash budget. So this budget is a forecast of cash position for a specific period of time, and it would estimate the amount of cash receipts and the amount of cash payments and the likely balance of cash in hand at the end of the period. The main reasons why a cash budget is prepared are, through a cash budget we can know our cash position, and if there is excess cash or shortage of cash, then we can decide in advance if there will be some short-term borrowings needed, or if we have excess cash, then we can plan some investments. Then cash can be coordinated in relation to the total working capital, sales and investment. Then through cash budget we can also know what should be our credit policy and what will be the effect of sudden and seasonal requirements, large stock, delay in collection of receipts on the cash position of the organization. So that's how a cash budget is useful to the organization. After functional budgets are prepared, then we prepare the master budget. So a master budget is consolidated summary of the various functional budgets that we just discussed. So this master budget would incorporate the component of functional budgets, and it will be finally approved, adopted and employed. So the master budget is prepared by the budget committee on the basis of coordinated functional budgets, and then it becomes the target for the company during the period when it is finally approved. So master budget would provide the basis for computing the effect of any changes in any phase of the operations. Suppose there is a change in sales volume, product mix, prices. So we can know how these changes would be affected, and it segregates income, cost and profit by the area of responsibility. So master budget presents all this information to the top management for appropriate action. So after discussion on the various budgets according to the function, let's see how budgets are classified according to the flexibility. So on the basis of flexibility, budget can be divided into fixed budget and flexible budget. So a fixed budget is the one which is prepared on the basis of a standard or a fixed level of activity, and it does not change with the change in the level of activity. Whereas on the other hand, a flexible budget, under a flexible budget, a budget is prepared to give the budgeted cost for any level of activity, and it is prepared by taking into account the fixed and variable elements of the cost. Next is the classification of budget according to time. So according to time, the budget can be classified as long-term budget, short-term budget, current budget and rolling budget. So a long-term budget is the budget which is prepared for a considerably long period of time, say 5 to 10 years. So it is mainly concerned with the planning of operations of the firm, and it is generally prepared in terms of physical quantities only. Then comes short-term budget. So a short-term budget is prepared for a period, say not exceeding 5 years, and it is prepared in terms of physical quantities as well as monetary units. Then current budget, it is a budget which is for a very short period, say a month or a quarter, and it is adjusted to current conditions, and that's why it is called a current budget. Then comes rolling budget. So a rolling budget is also known as progressive budget. What do we do under this method is that a budget for a year in advance is prepared. So actually a new budget is prepared after the end of each month for a full year ahead, and the figures for the month which has passed or rolled down are dropped, and the figures for the next month are added, and this practice continues for every month that ends and a new month is added. So these were the budgets according to the time. So we have come to the end of the presentation, and we have discussed the various types of budgets on the basis of different classifications. I hope this presentation was helpful to you, and on the screen you can see some of the references that you can use to enhance your knowledge further. Thank you.